Hey guys, welcome back. This is called Project Meekness. Let me explain. What is being meek? According to ChatGPT, meekness is often understood as the quality of being humble, gentle, and patient, especially in difficult or challenging situations. It's not about weakness, but rather than strength under control. A meek person might choose to be calm and composed rather than react with anger or aggression. In many cultures and religious teachings, meekness is valued as a sign of inner strength, self-restraint, and the ability to show kindness even when others may not deserve it. But according to the world, meekness is being weakness. Meekness is weakness. Meek is being weak. And not only that, but it's highly discouraged. So now, this brings us into why I'm making this video called Project Meekness. So about a couple months ago, I noticed that I was doing this thing subconsciously. I'm usually a very confident person, and the second someone's rude to me, I usually say like a witty reply back that shuts them down from ever being rude to me again or even disrespecting me. I'm very good at defending myself. But instead, I started doing this thing where I just ignore it and I keep being like too tender and nice, so essentially meek. And then it came to this thing where I was like, why am I doing this? This is not me at all. I'm beginning to not even feel like myself. So I analyzed it and I thought about it and I was like, oh, I'm psychologically testing people to see how they'll respond to my meekness. I was starting a new semester in my university and I was like, professors love it when you're confident and you start answering the questions really confidently, but what about the opposite? What about if you answer, but you answer very timidly and shy? And what will happen then? And I came to the conclusion of this, not even just for professors, but for everybody that I was in my daily life interacting with. I was acting meek. People who are good people will always be good to you, whether you're confident or not. And people that are not good, who are like inherently shallow, will not like it, and they will take advantage of you. And not even just shallow, but prideful. They want some sense of superiority, and this comes a lot, especially I noticed in this psychological game I was playing with people that don't have an important job at all, but they want to feel important, like that's only their life, that's only...
Hey.
Wow! So why am I making this video? Well, essentially the point is that being confident all the time and defending yourself all the time is a very exhausting thing to do. And it's so easy to just lay back and be meek. So another thing about being meek is that it's a B attitude. Let's ask ChatGPT, what is a B attitude? So the thing is, B attitudes don't look very strong at all, and some people may not think that these are leadership qualities and the least sense at all. So B attitude comes from the Bible and it comes from the New Testament. It's a phrase that describes a state of blessedness or happiness, often found in religious teachings. The most well-known Beatitudes come from the teachings of Jesus, particularly in the Sermon on the Mount, which is part of the Gospel of Matthew in the New Testament. These teachings outline qualities or attitudes that are blessed by God and reflect the values of God's kingdom. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And now the second one is where meek comes in. The first time I've ever heard this word, and I was like, what is this? Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Now, let's talk about why I decided to be meek in the first place. By choice, I would never, ever decide to be meek. It kind of just happened, and the reason is because I'm in a very happy relationship and I have a very wonderful people around me, and I just felt like, I don't have to prove myself. I know who's important to me, and I know whose opinion matters and is actually important to my life. So I kind of just started being more quiet, being kind of more like aloof. Wait, hold on, let me look up this definition. What does aloof mean? Basically, what I'm trying to say is I stopped caring and I started just relaxing a lot because I felt that I had enough opinions in my life to guide me. And I naturally started acting meek. And that's when I was like, I don't like this. I am a very confident person. And, okay, aloof means someone who's, like, uninterested, not engaging. Yeah, essentially what I was doing. Like, another part of my life that happened, I promise this all ties in together to the video, that happened was I lost a lot of friends. Just people just randomly just started telling me they don't want to be my friend anymore. I didn't change. I'm not a person whose, like, personality changes. It was just, like, life circumstances. They didn't want to be my friend. So I started going into these deep thoughts of, like, oh my gosh, why am I losing all these people right now? Especially when I thought God would want these people for my life because it would be good for my life and I was good for their life. And then also between the struggle of, I still have friends, but, like, I do have friends, but I lost a lot of people in my life and it's making a big impact and I feel like I need to replace them. But I don't want to go out there and make new friends because I'm exhausted. Like, I just spent all these previous years making good relationships that took over a year to build and now they're gone. Why am I going to go make new ones? So I started going into this state of meekness. And, like, every time I was talking to people, I was just being very meek. And I was like, what is this new self of mine? I'm not really sure, like, how I belong with it because it's not really me. Okay, so, I mean, then I started acting meek. I'm going to say this was divine intervention and that this was God making me act in a state of meekness, I guess, to just show me a few things that matter in life. And because I began to think after a few years, like, I was even going to make a video at one point eventually on, like, how to easily make friends. I began to think that there's, like, a formula to making friends, right? And then I realized there's absolutely no formula. Can you really choose anything in your life? Not really. I mean, you can choose what kind of person you're going to be, but at the end of the day, you can't choose who stays or who leaves. And all of this also added and contributed to me being meek. So now I'm going to get into the part of the video where being meek taught me a lot of things. Now, for the good people who were good to me, it was, like, mostly, like, intelligent adults. I guess here's the ringer of the video. People with high IQ are going to be kind to meek people. So people who are really intelligent, I noticed, were being kind to me while I was in a state of meekness. People with low IQ were not kind to me and they started taking advantage of me. They started allowing, like, pride to kind of, like, hone in on my meekness. Because something that prideful people do is when they see someone they view as weaker than them, they start to control them subconsciously and maybe even consciously, because that subconscious part of them and their pride doesn't like meek people, doesn't like anyone that they view as weaker than them, and wants to establish their superiority, and essentially they just want to establish that line of who's a boss, even if they're not really your boss, you know, they're just coworker or whatever. And it all comes down to insecureness. I've noticed a lot of low IQ people are insecure, and I think I'd be insecure too if I had low IQ. Just being dumb would make me pretty insecure, yeah. But so yeah, that's what I learned about this video. That essentially, because you're gonna hear all the time, like, how you're gonna be a leader, you're gonna have to be confident, you're gonna have to be well spoken, you're gonna have to be all these things, and then you say, oh my gosh, so I have to be perfect? If I want this dream job, if I want this leader, if I want to excel in the workforce, if I want to excel in anything in life, I have to be perfect? Because let's be honest, being confident, being well-spoken, being assertive, defending yourself all the time, that's a lot of hard work. And it's a huge challenge. And to figure out how to take care of yourself all the time is exhausting and you'll burn out. And you can't do that unless you're perfect, like, all the time. You can do it for some. There's gonna be many times in life when you feel meek or you are being meek, and then you are gonna feel weak. You're gonna feel like you're being vulnerable. You're gonna feel like you're being too nice, and then you're gonna be like, what's wrong with me? But realistically, nothing is wrong with you. Being meek is good. As the Bible said, you will inherit the earth. Why? Because those who are humble inherit the earth. Those who make themselves last will become first. Anyway, thanks for watching Project Meekness. This is what being meek for a couple months has taught me. It's taught me a lot about how people are, especially truly intelligent people are always going to be kind to you no matter what, because that's what I noticed from my professors. They're extremely high IQ people. A little background on them. One of them, he has worked at the White House alongside of the FBI, so enough said about his intelligence. And he's an extremely kind man. And I've noticed most of us in my class, like, we're pretty meek, and he's kind to all of us. Very, very kind. And it's not, like, I thought college would be like in, How to Get Away with Murder, where that professor, like, on the first day is like, oh, you didn't read 100 pages? Well, out of my class, or whatever. And, I mean, like, some professors are more tough, but, like, the people who are extremely intelligent but still kind, they win over you at the end of the day, and they're the ones who make you want to work hard in their class. And don't even just take this as a professor-student relationship thing. Think about it as any relationship. Like, any person who's, like, extremely qualified to be proud but isn't, any person who's extremely intelligent or accomplished and is still extremely kind to you, is going to win favor. And it's going to win your favor, like favor in your eyes, and it's going to gain your respect, and you're going to want to do things for them in return, like simply be kind back and do them favors. And, yeah, and then my other professors who are really kind, one of them, and accomplished and smart, one of them is a sergeant, and previous, like, army experience, and, like, all the way in, like, Bosnia, and like, crazy places like that. I mean, like, first of all, I feel like you gotta be smart to survive war and come back mentally strong, because he very kind, no mental issues at all. And then my third professor, she, I don't know, I know she has many jobs, and right now she's getting her doctorate and she's teaching at the same time, and she's also a mom, a wife, and she has some other government related job that she just got elected for. High IQ, and also one of the kindest women I've ever met. And it doesn't faze her if you're meek. She will be so kind to you. And then let's talk about the people who've treated me not so nice when I've been meek. And yeah. Okay, so thanks for watching my video. Hope y'all learned a thing or two. Okay, now, wait, one more thing. Okay, now let me put in ChatGPT, who are figures in the Bible who have been meek? Okay. So what it tells us. Moses, oh yeah, he was known to have a stutter. Jesus Christ, well, yeah, he never fought back, at least aggressively, you know. His fighting back was, like, very witty, but still very calm, he's always down to earth. King David, I didn't expect that, because he was king. And it's true, like, at one point Saul was trying to kill him, and he never tried to kill Saul back even when he had the opportunity. And you would think, like, a king is never going to choose to be weak. Joseph was meek. He was falsely accused. He went to jail, and he was still kind to people in jail. He wasn't bitter. And the last one is Stephen. I don't know too much about him. I do know that he was stoned to death for professing the faith. So that's another thing. Like, I feel like when you're meek, you choose to stay to your core beliefs, and that's always kindness. And his core belief was Jesus Christ, and also, like, still being kind. Even when he was being stoned to death, he wasn't, like, insulting people, and he wasn't screaming at anyone, and he was still a good Christian. Anyway, there we go. God bless. Bye, guys.